The Wally Show podcast is our daily radio show heard live through the WayFM app each morning and hosted by Wally, Gavin, and me, Betty Rock. For more fun, be sure to connect with us at wayfm.com/Wally.
The Wally Show podcast is brought to you by Colorado Christian University Online, where you can earn a degree online just like Betty Rock. You can learn more at ccu.edu/Wally. Serving it sunny side up. It's News-ish with Betty Rock on The Wally Show.
A young woman in, I believe, North Carolina, she's going viral after she came up with this concept of how to tell which type of friend you are. Are you either an A, B, C, or D friend?
Okay, I'm really excited about this because I am a good friend. Like, when people need something from me, I am there for them, you know? And, like, I will drop anything to go do something. Friends like, hey, let's go do this. Okay, I will cancel plans.
You're a helper.
Or I'll cancel plans with a lesser friend to go do that.
Interesting. Okay. Well, if you're wondering which type you are, here she is to explain it. So type A, you're the mom, the overly responsible one.
I just emailed you the Canva link for our itinerary for this weekend trip. It has everything on it, like all the times. At the time from the pickup of the car, it has the time for we should be getting to the Airbnb. It has the time for when our first reservation is.
So you are the one that's organized. You got it all under control.
Now, I appreciate those people. I'm not that person anymore. I used to be, but now I can appreciate that, like for vacation and stuff. If you want to do all that legwork and drive yourself nuts and figure all that out, great. I'm along for the ride. You're in charge.
Well, then you might be a type B. Type B is you're the child, the one everyone has to look out for. You're flighty and a bit irresponsible.
No, girls, like, I'll pay for it. Yeah, I got like $100 in my Apple Pay. You know, that's not real money. Here, let me. My phone is on like 3%. Does anyone have a charger?
Oh, those people drive me nuts, though. Like, come on, guys.
Type C. If you're a type C friend, you're the quieter one, organized but needs alone time.
I don't ride the rides, but I will. You know, I'll hold everybody's stuff while you guys ride the ride, and I'll be here right at this spot when you get out. My nap, y'all. If you take a nap, let me get 27 minutes in. I'll be here a whole time. I'll hold down the fort.
That is my wife. Like, when we go to theme parks or on vacation, she's like, look, you go do all the extreme stuff you want to do. I'll be right here. I'll be right here when you get back. It's fine. And she's so happy and content to be that.
And then finally, the type D. Type D is you're the instigator. You're annoyed easily and not afraid of confrontation.
Found me.
That girl was looking at me crazy all night. Not again. I think we're going to have a problem.
It's so funny. It took 3 types before it, but you finally got to me. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like, I know people that would fit each category, okay? And I think that most people are finding out you can adapt to certain types. Like, for instance, sometimes you're the, like you were saying, you're the A type friend, but if there's another type A, you'll turn into the B.
Exactly,
okay?
and always the D.
Always the D. Always the D.
Do you have a boss queen in your life, or are you a boss queen? Hey, it's the Wally Show on Uplifting Way FM. I do. I have a young Miss Betty Rock.
Yeah.
Is a boss queen. Now, what a boss queen is, it's a person who does something, a lady who does something that maybe the rest of the world would not be impressed by. But you're like, you know what? I'm proud of this. I did this. It's something I haven't done before. It's something that challenged me. I stepped out. I did this, and I'm really proud of myself. And you get to share that with us now. So, Betty Rock, what is yours?
So recently, my tire pressure notification came up on my car, the little light, the little icon. And this has happened before. I knew, like, it's probably due to cold weather or hot weather. You know, those things can affect it. Well, my dad had given me for Christmas or my birthday, I can't remember, but this tire pressure gauge, and it you plug it into your cigarette lighter. That's what I call it. But
yeah, because you're older.
Generation, I call it something different. But the little plug-in that you have in your car,
the AC adapter.
Yeah.
That's what they'll call it.
Yeah, sure, whatever. But anyways, it produces air for you to pump into your tires. So I was like, I'm going to give that a shot. So I checked the tire pressure, but the problem is I don't know how many pounds, kilograms, millimeters, whatever it is.
PSI, pounds per square inch.
In a car. But I did know from the Valvoline guy that there's a sticker inside my car door that tells me those things. Well, it was all a bunch of gibberish, and I found something that said like KBS or something. I'm not sure. But anyways, that setting was on this machine that my dad had gotten me. So I set it to that.
Okay.
And I knew to look for, I think it was 32.
Okay, that sounds about right. right.
Okay, so anyways, I plug it in, and there was one that was a little bit short, and it was like 28. So I plugged it in, and I pushed the button to power, and it put some air in it, and the notification
that went off. There you go, boss queen.
I fixed it.
You figured out which tire?
Myself.
Yeah, you had to do a lot.
I had like black, the oil stuff on my fingers.
Tires
and my
are dirty.
hands. I was like, yeah,
good
I'm
for
a boss
you.
queen.
You felt good after that, too. Getting your hands a little dirty, getting in there, mixing it up. You are a boss queen.
Thank you.
All right, that is Betty Rocks. What is your boss queen moment? A chance for us to celebrate with you and celebrate you for the thing that you did that maybe the rest of the world might not feel is a big accomplishment. But for you, you're like, I did this. So 855-33-WAY-FM. Love having you on the show with us. 855-33-WAY-FM. And we'll take your boss queen moment now. What's yours?
Well, I wanted to brag on my daughter, Anna, who's an awesome mother, but she recently refinished furniture, a table and chairs, and did a really nice job at it.
There you go. And what makes you a boss queen is that you are still pumping up your daughter.
Now, be honest with us, Wendy. Did she ask for your help in any way with this refurnishing situation?
She did not. I don't know if she Googled it or what, but she did it all on her own.
All right. Here's the big question, Wendy, because you're like, my daughter did such a great job. She's a boss queen. She nailed it. Would you put these pieces of furniture in your home?
Yeah.
Okay, then there you go. That is a boss queen moment for sure.
Okay. Thank you.
And who is this?
This is Kelly, and I have a boss queen moment.
Well, Kelly, you've called the right place because that's what we're doing right now. Boss Queen, that thing that maybe the rest of the world doesn't appreciate the way you do, something that you did. So what do you got?
I got a bat out of my house at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, there's a lot going on with that already. That is a complete Boss Queen moment. That would terrify me to fight a bat at 1 in the morning.
I didn't even cry, although I wanted to.
Okay, now how did you get it out? Was there a broom involved, a pillowcase? What'd you do?
Oh my gosh, there was screaming and hollering, and I told you that I can't do this. But who am I going to call at 1 o'clock in the morning?
That's right. It's just you and Jesus at that point.
Yeah, there was pillow swinging, but I never hit it. It went down on the floor, on the carpet, and I threw a box over it. And then I got him out. I just flicked him in the box with a dustpan and carried him outside.
I can tell you this, if my wife had her wits about her enough to get a box over the bat on the floor like you did, that's where that bat would have stayed. Like that's where she ends that journey. She's not getting that bat outside. So nicely done on you. That is a boss queen moment for sure.
Thank you.
Betty's love of crime shows has me concerned because I think that she's not learning how to protect herself, but rather how to set me up for a crime.
Oh, I for sure am.
It's a Gone Girl situation is what I'm thinking.
I'm glad I've got you right where I want you.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. You need someone in your life that will set you up for success, not failure.
Yeah, and that's exactly how I felt with CCU. I mean, I felt intimidated considering going back to school as an adult after being out for so long, but I was set up for success with CCU from my first conversation all the way to graduation. Most classes are only 5 weeks long, which means you can earn your degree and still have time to do whatever you want.
Yeah, 5-week classes, that's even good for people with like ADHD. Like for me, I know I needed short classes so I could focus when I went back to school because Betty Rock and I kind of lived the same life.
Find out more about how you can pursue your passion and find your calling with Colorado Christian University at online.ccu.edu. Colorado Christian University is a nonprofit impact partner.
When you say that glass is half full,
Instead of just being half full,
or is it half empty?
we'll top off your glass. It's News-ish on The Wally Show.
They have said for years, money can't buy happiness, but there is a number, according to the majority of Americans, that would take the sting out of it and make you a little bit happier. Do you want to guess what that amount of money is? Now, this isn't a salary. This is liquid cash that you just have sitting in your banks and that you can get access to.
I would say $1.5 million.
Wow, you are never going to be happy. I hate to break it to you. That is way higher than most people.
Oh, it is? Okay.
You got expensive taste, girl.
I don't know. I don't know these things.
$200,000.
Really?
It's what people said. Yeah, having $200,000 in liquid assets would make them happy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good to know that we're easily pleased.
Well, I don't think that money buys happiness per se, but I do believe that it provides a sense of security or freedom in knowing that if financial things come up, it's not going to wreck you. The author of this study says, knowing that you've got money set aside for worries eases the fear of the future, uncertainties, medical emergencies, layoffs, things like that. And it goes a long way, that peace of mind, to making you feel overall happy. But here's the rub. If you lose all that money, then you would lose your happy. And that's why happy shouldn't be our goal. Joy should be our aim. Joy is what you have when you have plenty, or you can have it when you have nothing. That's the crazy thing, and that's possible through Jesus. Like, I've been in some of the poorest places on the planet, and I've seen pure joy from people who have nothing, because they have Jesus and they realize that that is their everything. And when you come to that realization, that it's not about things, it's not about what I have, what I don't have, and you lean on him for your provision, your faith catapults in its depth, I'll be honest, if I had to choose between struggle and abundance after having years of struggle before, I'm going to choose abundance. I think most people would. There's comfort in knowing if my car breaks, I can get it fixed and not fear how I'm going to pay my rent. And I feel badly for people that have to live in that place. It's tough because I've been there. But I also know that I made a bunch of money in mainstream radio. So I accomplished everything that they said would make you happy. And lo and behold, it did not. I was still just as angry and just as unhappy, and so I was secure in my finances, but not happy, because happy encompasses so much more than just having money. And I'm learning that the secret to happy is actually being content. That if you can be content, that leads to gratitude, which leads to joy, which overall will make you feel happy. So there you go. That's a little life lesson for me. I've had all those cycles in my life, and that's what I've learned from this.
Testimony.
Yeah. But if you give me $200,000, I'm not going to turn it down. Uplifting Way FM. This is the Wally Show. Communication is so important in any relationship, especially in your marriage. And sometimes, though, despite your best efforts, it goes awry. And I came across this comedian on TikTok who had a great idea for an app that would translate what you were saying to your wife or your husband into a language. It would rephrase it all so that they could better understand it, like this.
For example, she went to get tea yesterday. So she was like, hey, I know I said I'm going to be 20 minutes, but I'm going to be like an hour, because here's what happened. I went to Trader Joe's and I wanted to get hibiscus tea. But the hibiscus that they have over there is mixed with turmeric. And I'm allergic to turmeric. It's so humid. And now I have to walk to Whole Foods. So I went to Whole Foods. And I finally found it. It was all the way in the top shelf. But there was a really kind guy who helped me. And then I was in line, long line. But anyway, there was an old lady. And she loved my skirt. And I was like, do you also do yoga? And then we talked about yoga for and I feel like I have a new friend. And I'm so happy because this is the perfect day to make a new friend and drink some tea. And I wish that she could send that text, and then the app would just go beep, 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 boop, and then it would get to me, be like, I bought tea. And I would reply, cool. And then it would go on the app, beep, boop, 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 and then it would get to her and be like, hibiscus, a flower. It makes me think that you and I should go to a flower festival. We could walk today, all day together, and be happy, and talk about how much we love each other and how much we miss each other. And I would love to keep texting. However, my battery on my phone is as empty as my heart when I'm not with you.
Oh, so good.
So accurate.
So
too.
good. And so, yeah, that's what a guy is thinking. And so that's what we're going to do right now. Because, again, we communicate differently. So I'm curious, if your guy has ever said or done something that just left you scratching your head, I want to provide a service because I love love. And I want to explain to you what he was thinking when he said that or when he did that, so that you can have a stronger relationship where maybe the communication has failed. 855-33-WAY-FM is the number. That's 855-33-WAY-FM. If you'd like to take advantage of the service and strengthen your relationship right now as a lady, I'm more than happy to help. 855-33-WAY-FM. What is the situation?
So I got 3 bathing suits on Amazon, and I just needed to know which bathing suit he thought looked the most flattering. So I try them on. He says the light blue one, and I look at him and I say, really? Because that's not the one I expected him to say. And he's like, maybe the pink one? And I said, I just need to know, what do you think? And he said to me, I am trained to think what you think.
Right. See, you put him in a losing situation, for the record. Like, there's no win in this, no matter what he does. And so he's he's just praying for a life ring. He's hoping that Jesus is going to come back, anything to stop this conversation. But he did know, he went with blue first. What was it that made the blue swimsuit not what you thought he would pick?
I think the pink one was more flattering visually, but the blue one, and I had mentioned the blue one's more comfortable.
Right.
And he's like, well, the blue one. And I'm like, but...
This is why he's such a good man, because this is the kind of guy that's going to bring you a pair of flats when you're wearing high heels to a party, because he knows you might want to look this way, but you're not going to be happy ultimately, and he just wants you to be happy. So he was like going, hey, let's get the comfortable suit, even though maybe it's not what I would choose, but I want you to be comfortable, and you should feel beautiful in whatever you're wearing.
Oh, wow.
That's exactly right.
Yeah,
that's exactly true.
So which suit did you end up getting?
Oh, she went with the pink.
I got all of them. I don't know what y'all are talking about. I got all 3.
So what do you got?
So my husband proposed. This was 9 years ago, and very happily married, but he took me out to celebrate. We were at this wonderful restaurant, and I'm ecstatic and talking about how I can't wait to tell my friends and my best friend. And he said, you don't have to, tell everybody right now, do you? And I said, well, I'm really excited, aren't you?
I understand on the surface how this makes him look really bad. And so how did that make you feel in that moment?
Well, I was crushed, and I thought, well, you can't really want to marry someone if you're not excited about it.
I understand it, and hopefully this will shed a little light on this for you. He knows that you are so amazing. Like, you are, honestly, he's outkicked his coverage with you. You are so far out of his league, it's not even funny. He's aware of that, okay? And keenly aware of that. And so the reason he didn't want you to tell other people is because he knew the judgment that would come. Oh, she's settling. There's no way she should be with this guy. And so he wanted to keep it more on the down low so that he could prepare himself emotionally and guard his heart a little bit for when those attacks came.
Wow.
What a beautiful slant.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
And for sure, slant is the right word, because I'm not sure. That's a reach.
You think, really? Well, one man's slant is another man's love.
That's right. Thanks, Wally.
Is there something that he said or done that just you didn't understand?
So we were at a family gathering for a holiday, and his sister was hosting it, my sister-in-law, who's a wonderful cook. And as she's preparing everything in the kitchen, my husband comes into the room and says, maybe you could take a few pointers from Lindsay here. Are you paying attention?
And that hurt your feelings because you want to provide for your family, correct?
Of course. I would like to think that I'm capable of cooking and providing a decent meal, but apparently he doesn't think I am.
I see where you missed the subtlety of what's going on. His sister has been feeling very insecure recently, and he knows that this is all she has. And this is where your husband is such a good man. He knows he needed to bolster her up a little bit, but he also is so confident in your security about who you are as his wife and as a mom and as a chef, all of those things. He knew that if he said, hey, you could take a few pointers from her, that it would help her and in her emotional fragile state right now. So right now, what you should be doing is going, I am so thankful for this man that is in tune to the emotions of a family member and his sister, and I am lucky to have him in my life.
Well, there you go. That's a great perspective to have, and I'm uplifted today because of it.
The Forge is a new movie from the Kendrick brothers, and these are the guys that started off with Fireproof, and they did War Room. And if you love Miss Clara from War Room, you'll be happy because she's back in this movie, The Forge. And I think it's the best Kendrick brothers movie so far, and it hit me in all the feels. I actually even teared up a couple times, Rock.
Well, that's not saying much. Well, why did it hit you?
Well, I think I love stories where guys have their hearts broken for God, because I know what it takes to get to that point. And it's not easy for us. And so that kind of resonates with me. And I also love the mom in this story and how she has no other option than to pray for her child. And you see her gratitude when God starts working in his life and turning him around.
It's a modern movie, but there is a sword.
Yeah.
What's that about?
Well, there's a sword. There's it's a guy movie kind of. Well, it's not a guy movie, but it's a movie about guys. And so they're doing discipleship and trying to bring each other along. And so you got to have a sword in that to dub somebody a man kind of thing. And so they do that because the guy takes this young kid under his wing and gives him a chance and shows him how to become a man. And you need a sword for a ceremony. And so I really did dig it.
If you want to check out The Forge with your family, especially your sons, it'll be in theaters August 23rd. For more on The Forge, visit theforgemovie.com.
Things you didn't know you needed to know today. It's News-ish with Wally.
There's a term going around that I was not familiar with. It's the term Venmo Mom. And so I'm like, I hadn't heard it before. But then I came across this story that kind of, well, it'll put you on one of two sides instantly when you hear this. So there's so much pressure on moms to be super involved in their kids' school lives. I know my wife was at everything, volunteered for everything, made cookies, and, would show up and so very involved with our daughter's school. But there's a mom who's going viral because she doesn't want to volunteer whatsoever when her kids' teachers ask for help. She said, I don't want to be on PTO, PTA, room mom, team mom. I don't want any of that. There's part of you that can appreciate the honesty. And I want to be clear, I don't think she's a bad mom because of that, because those things cause a lot of drama, competition, and can quickly get weird. And so if you're not wired for that, maybe it is best you stay out of it because you could really do some damage.
But then again, those who are the moms who are great about stepping up and volunteering and things like that, it gives them a moment to shine. It's just that there needs to be giving on both sides. One of them is what do you call it? Money-ish?
Yeah.
And the other one is physical.
Right.
Like you're giving of your time and your effort.
Right.
While the other one is not doing that, but they're giving definitely through their money.
Well, people weighed in on both sides of this online. One mom said, I'll literally pay for the entire event. Just don't make me go.
I get that.
Yeah. Another one said, as a PTO room mom, we appreciate the send money moms. Everyone has a place. See, I think that's true because some women are wired to be that person that puts it all together and loves it. They thrive in that. It fills their cup. And other people aren't. They're just going to be a distraction or the negative person in the room. And so if you could have them fund it, I don't think that's wrong.
Also, where are the dads in this whole scenario? Why aren't the dads volunteering?
Because we're at work. We're at work.
And the women aren't?
Well, you brought it up. I don't know where the dads are. The term isn't Venmo dad, it's Venmo mom. They don't want dads at school. Dads just mess up everything because dads will come in and try to take over, and then it wrecks everything that they've worked so hard for. No, it's just how it goes. Some of the people that were against it said, we'd all rather do this. Who's is supposed to make the class parties happen then if it feels like no one's going to do it? And another person said, I don't understand why people don't volunteer. My kids told me that me showing up when they were kids made them feel important and loved. Aww. I think that's the answer right there in this. If your kid is somebody that's like, I'm fine, I'm maybe rather you're not there or whatever, then you're good. But if your kid needs that, then maybe you have to find it inside of yourself to be that, not for the other people or for the school, but for your kid.
What if that was your kid when she was younger and you're at work? Would you take the time to come and be there and volunteer at her little baking cell?
I always did. I built stuff for her. I was always, every time I could be there, I'd go have lunch with her at times too. So whenever I could, I was there. Probably they didn't want me a lot of times.
They're like, we have another child.
I know.
Have another child.
Could you just be a Venmo dad, please?
We get gold stars when we master the material covered in class.
You're not hearing me, girl. I'm in charge now. And I say recess.
Uplifting Way FM. This is the Wally Show. School back in session. We're going to play a little game here called Teacher's Pet, okay? One of the things you have to do as a parent a lot of times is meet the teachers in the beginning of the year. And how crazy would it be if years ago someone had no idea, they walked into a primary school in London and they meet this young teacher there, and that guy goes on to be Sting. True story. Used to be a teacher, became Sting from the police.
Crazy.
Okay. So I have some people that may or may not have started their early career as teachers before they went on to be celebrities. And all you have to do is tell me which of these people you believe was teacher material in the beginning. So it's just that simple. So 855-33 Way FM is the number. If you want to play the game, we got a prize for you right now. 855-33 Way FM. We'll play the Teacher's Pet game with you.
We get gold stars when we master the material covered in class.
You're not hearing me, girl. I'm in charge now. And I say recess.
Uplifting Way FM, this is The Wally Show. Jason, welcome to the Teacher's Pet Game. I'm going to give you some celebrities, and you have to tell me if they started off their careers as a teacher or not, okay?
All right, got it.
So here we go. Number 1, Jack Black, okay? He was in the movie School of Rock where he played a teacher, but did he ever play a teacher in real life?
I'm going to say no.
You're going to say no. He has the kind of ADD that I think would make it difficult to be a teacher, but he would understand half the kids. You are right. He did not start his career off as a teacher. Well done. Okay, you got to get one more right, and you got this thing. Mr. Hugh Jackman, the actor, did he start his career off as a teacher?
Hugh Jackman did.
You say it kind of hesitantly. I
am hesitant.
You are hesitant about that. Betty Rock, Hugh Jackman, do you think he started off as a teacher? Does he seem teacherly?
Oh, for sure.
Yes. Sure?
Yes, and he would have been the cute teacher, too, because, I mean, let's be honest. Am I right, Jason?
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, you don't have to answer that, Jason. It's fine. Well, you know what? You actually got that right. Nicely done.
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman, before he became an actor, worked as a PE teacher in England. So he did teach physical education. So I guess he's always kind of been in shape.
Uh-huh. Do you want to tell me more about it, Wally?
I'll let Jason do it. Well, Jason, you figured it all out and you got him right. You are a winner today on the Teacher's Pet Game on The Wally Show on Way FM.
Amazing. Thank you.
Growing up in poverty has never been easy for children, but with the added challenges of the pandemic, conflict, and natural disasters, families around the world are facing an unprecedented food crisis. Unfortunately, those who are already hungry are now even more desperate. But by sponsoring a child through compassion, you can help provide life-sustaining essentials such as food and clean water. And with your compassionate support, that child can not only survive, but also flourish. You can find out how and choose a child to sponsor when you click on the compassion banner at wayfm.com.
Uplifting Way FM. This is The Rock Report with Betty Rock.
Mariah Carey has made a name for herself as the fun and cheery Queen of Christmas.
I don't even remember how old this song is, but it is always the thing that ushers me into the holiday. When I start hearing it, I'm like, oh, it's time. Let's go.
It's got to be close to 30 years old.
But it's so timeless.
Mm-hmm. Very true, yeah. But behind the scenes, things aren't so cheery for the Carey family. It was recently announced that Mariah suffered a huge loss. Her 87-year-old mother passed away from health complications, and as if that weren't enough, Mariah's older sister Allison passed away on the very same day.
That is really
Can you imagine?
Hard to believe. That's a lot. Like you don't even know where to grieve. It's kind of like you're looking both directions. Like, all right, now wait a minute. I could imagine getting that call and being, okay, this is not funny. You know, you're killing me. Like, I'm hurting already. And then, like, no, your sister honestly passed away. Like, well, now what do I do?
Right. Well, Allison, the older sister of Mariah Carey, Allison's life looked a lot different from her younger sister. Allison had dealt with homelessness, substance abuse, as well as serious health issues that landed her in hospice care towards the end of her life.
Wow.
And due to a defamation accusation back in 2020, based on terrible things that Mariah Carey accused her sister Allison of in her memoir, the two sisters hadn't been on speaking terms, to the point where when Mariah was told that her sister was on hospice care and actively dying, Mariah never reached out to her and made amends.
I would imagine, because in the moment you're still so bent about things, and I get it. Like, I understand holding a grudge or being angry at somebody. It's the end of life stuff that I'm like, man, it's just too important to settle stuff and put it down. Yeah, you could have held it for 50 years, but put it down, you know? And it was like, I know, like, my dad and his brother had a beef that lasted way too long, and they never really got to squash it. They got close, and then they didn't. And I was really sad about that for them and for my uncle who's still alive, you know?
Well, and I can only imagine for Mariah's mom how that must have felt like.
Yeah.
You know, she had two daughters that weren't speaking. That's a sad thing. And to go out knowing that truth, that's sad, too.
I am curious if Mariah... You know, because you never know anybody's head, but I'm curious if she looks at the finality of it today, and maybe you're relieved or something, I don't know, or maybe you feel, I'm curious if she feels like, I should have done something. I know it was a mess and she drug us through everything, but I should have done something. Because I feel bad for people that have something left unsaid to their loved one. I was real fortunate with my dad. I got to see him a few days before he passed, and I got to share a letter that I'd written to him, and I got to just spend time with him, and I got to talk to him, and I got to say what I wanted to say, and I'm so thankful for that. Yeah, I miss him, and I hate that he passed away, and it stinks, but I'm so grateful for that opportunity, and I definitely feel for people that maybe didn't get that, whether it was their choice or not, and they kind of have to live with that. But the good thing in this is, like, even though and maybe you're in that place, and sometimes forgiveness, we want forgiveness, in our lives, and sometimes the person you have to forgive is yourself for not maybe mending that bridge or doing it earlier, and instead of carrying that for the rest of your life, you do have to find that place and find that forgiveness from God and find that forgiveness in yourself to then free yourself to move on.
And to mend it all before it's too late.
Absolutely. Uplifting Way FM, this is the Wally Show, and we've all heard about little white lies, and we know that in the Bible it talks about, it's one of the commandments, thou shalt not lie. Pretty explicit. And I have to go, did it mean in every instance? I'm always looking for a loophole.
Well, especially, too, because I found this TikTok video, and it's this girl that she was going out to meet her friends at a dinner reservation that she thought was at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
When she shows up at 6:20, she's like, I'm here for the dinner reservation. And they're like, oh, the one at 6:30? And she's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So her friends lied to her.
100%.
So they told her 6 when the dinner reservation was at 6:30, just so she would get there early.
Yeah, and she was late to the first one.
So that she'd be there on time.
See, that's the thing, man. And I'm curious. You never know, like, the full intent of things, like the letter of the law versus the spirit of the law, like thou shalt not lie, on like things that really hurt people and damage people and all of that stuff. But then, like, lying to your friend about the start time, I personally don't think that falls under that thou shalt not lie.
It falls under the self-preservation.
Yeah.
You're thinking about yourself, you doing you, because it messes with you when people keep constantly showing up late. You're like, well, do I matter? Do you even care? Like, why are you always running late? Obviously, you don't have a good management with your time.
I do think that we are less than truthful a lot of times in our daily lives, every day, honestly. You're sitting there and your wife's like, hey, do you like this new outfit? Like, sometimes, like, you have no other choice but to go, you find a way to kind of go, do you like it? Then good, I like it too, I made this meal, is this good? I remember that early on. Do you like it? Every bit of it, And so I think sometimes you're lying to actually protect somebody, and their feelings, which I almost think is not a horrible thing, or like you're trying to keep the peace. Because I know there's things even with your friends on a daily basis that if you really told them the truth about some things, it would damage your relationship.
I agree.
And they're things that ultimately aren't things that matter. You know what I mean? Wait a minute.
Wait, what?
Are you talking to me?
What? I didn't say anything. I'm just agreeing with you.
All right. 855-33-WAY-FM.
Someone's feeling insecure.
Because you never agree with me. 855-33-WAY-FM. I am just curious, okay? Have you ever, to keep peace or to save somebody's feelings, been less than truthful with them? All right? 855-33-WAY-FM. We'll take yours right now. So have you ever done that with your friends?
I'll admit, yes, I have, at times, and then, afterwards you feel the conviction of not telling the truth. And, the thing about the Word of God is that, it says what it says, and it doesn't follow up with unless, there's no unless. And then later on it says to speak the truth in love. So there is a way to still be honest, but do it with the love of Christ and the wisdom of God.
Here's what we're going to do, Caleb. I'm going to get your number. And so the next time my wife asks me if these pants make her rear end look big, I'm calling you. I'm phoning a friend. And we're going to see how this goes.
I mean, she can't reach through the phone and hit me. So.
Yes. Is there any room for that inside of our faith there, David?
I honestly don't think so, no. I think it's pretty straightforward with thou shalt not lie.
I always look at the situation. Like, am I doing something to protect somebody or kindness, or am I doing it to protect me? If I'm doing it to protect me, then I'm like, oh, yeah, that's definitely wrong. I see it a little more gray if it's, not the big things in life, but if you were 100% honest with someone, it would undo them a little bit, and then I'm like, I'm still kind of kind.
Yeah, that makes sense, but eventually someone's going to tell them the truth, right? It's like if my wife asks me, does this dress make me look fat? I reply, baby, I love you. That's just maybe not the dress for you. Right. Because eventually someone's going to tell her the truth, and she's going to come at me, and I'm the one who wasted the money on the dress, and why did I lie to her? And then I'm in a whole other mess.
I love, and you've just really, in a microcosm there, explained women's and men's relationships, how this is not your fault at all. 100% not even remotely your fault, but it comes full circle, and it's back to your fault.
Oh, no, yeah, everything's our fault, Wally.
Yeah, 100%.
And now for some good news.
Uplifting Away FM. This is the Wally Show. We do a little thing called Good News Giddy Up because the regular news can be a little bit contentious, cantankerous, if you will. And so we like to find some of the good stories floating around. Lady Rock, what do you got?
There is some employees that had to save a kitten in a car wash. So if you didn't know it, during the colder months, mama cats will take their kittens and hide them in the engines of cars because it's warm.
Yeah, exactly.
And so always, that's just to say, take heed. Just be careful. If you hear a meow, stop and help a kitten. But anyways, this must have happened to somebody in Ohio because they're taking their car through the car wash, and all of a sudden there's this little kitten sitting to the side, and his hair is all fluffy and crazy.
He was clean? He looked good?
Well, they were able to rescue him. He is now with the Humane Society. They took him in and they named him...
Nice. What? Bubbles?
Turbo Rinse.
Nice. All right.
After the car wash.
All
Turbo.
Right. There you go. Turbo. I love
think it's
that.
cute. And he's got long hair and he's orange and white.
Nice.
Precious.
Nice. The Kansas City Royals catcher, Salvador Perez, took time on his day off on Thursday to do something just kind of spur of the moment, and I love this. He saw some kids playing wiffle ball, and so he was driving by and he stopped and he's like, hey, can I play? And
that's awesome.
I mean, I just think that's crazy. He's like a 9-time All-Star, so he plays a couple innings with them, and the kids were all beside themselves. One kid, who was pitching said he probably wouldn't throw him a fastball again, though, because he hit a home run. Like, throw him the curve. He can't hit the curve.
We only had one ball.
It'd be so great. Like, the kids start heckling him like they're not Royals fans. Like, throw him the curve. He's weak on the curve, But I love when celebrities do that stuff. Like, just again, remembering that where they were and kids looking up to them and giving back a little bit. I think that's really cool. And that's going to do it for your Good News Giddy Up.
Well, that's the end, but it doesn't have to be. Check out our Aftercast. It's new stuff you didn't hear in the podcast. Be sure to rate us on iTunes as well as connect with us on social media. Just search Wally Show. And if you'd like to join our Facebook group made exclusively for you potties, the link is in the description of this podcast. Thanks to Colorado Christian University Online for supporting what we do.